obtain our policy objectives. It doesn't
Thank
work.
you.
It's counterproductive, and the record shows it.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Berman. Mr. Smith, the Subcommittee on Africa, Global Health and Human Rights Chair.
Ambassador Rice, if you could just tell us what role you believe UN peacekeeping operations will occur in South Sudan after July 9th, if you could speak to the issue of the abuse in the DR Congo, if that's been rectified, how you see that playing out by UN peacekeepers. Also, years back, I held a series of hearings and offered an amendment on the whole issue of anti-Semitic language in UNRWA textbooks. Has that been fixed? We are the major donor still, about $500 million over the last 2 years alone. It seems to me that we should have zero tolerance for anything that is either anti-Semitic or anti-American when we're footing the bill for those textbooks. And finally, and I raise this with increasing alarm, and I've raised it since as far back as 1983, and that is the barbaric one-child-per-couple policy with its very heavy reliance on forced abortion and forced sterilization. As you know, brothers and sisters are illegal in China. That has not changed. I recently worked on a case of a woman who was being compelled in a major city in China to get an abortion after her first child because she was not allowed a second. I actually have a picture because it was and I'll share it with you privately, a very successful outcome, but she is absolutely the exception in the PRC. With resoluteness, women are allowed only one child. As you know, for 30 years, the UN Population Fund has aided and abetted that barbaric policy. They have heaped praise upon it. They have trained the cadres. I know under the Bush administration, a serious effort was made to find out exactly what that training was, and they stonewalled. And I'm wondering if we have been able, and I would like to be a part of that, to find out exactly what is going on with regards to the UNFPA's work there, because as Secretary John Negroponte pointed out in 2008, when we denied funding to the UNFPA, he pointed out in pertinent part that China's birth limitation program remains harshly coercive in law and practice, including in coercive abortion. It is illegal in almost all provinces for a single woman to bear a child. So if you're an unwed mother, you are forcibly aborted, even if it's the one child permitted to most women in their lifetime under the law. What was very important in his finding, the State Department noted that Chinese law is, quote, the foundation of its coercive policies and practices, and that the UNFPA comports with and adheres to Chinese law. So in those counties where the UNFPA is operating, they absolutely must follow Chinese law with regards to the one-child-per-couple policy. And the impact, and I know you know this, Ambassador Rice, there is the gender disparity. 10 years ago, in the State Department Country Reports on Human Rights Practices, it was revealed that upwards of 100 million girls are missing in China, the direct result of gendercide. The targeting of a girl in utero and the destruction of that tiny infant baby girl simply because she is female. Now, I see some people in your staff smiling and laughing. You know, it galls me no end, frankly, that we have not raised this gendercide issue. Even CEDAW has raised it, not to the way and to the proportion that it ought to. But frankly, it is unconscionable that girls are being targeted because they're being girled and systematically eliminated. By 2020, 40 million men will not be able to find wives because they've been eliminated systematically year in and year out as a direct result of the one-child-per-couple policy. So I strongly encourage you. We need to be on the same page with this. These are crimes against gender, crimes against humanity. And where is the Genocide Convention panel of experts? Where are others? Where's the Human Rights Council? You know, the periodic review punts on this with regards to China. So I would ask you, please, to raise this issue aggressively and take back, if you would, the request to have real transparency with regards to UNFPA. It does not exist currently.
Madam Chair, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to address all those in the 30 seconds remaining. I'm going to talk as fast as I know how. In post-Sudan, the UN is in the process, post-referendum Sudan, and the UN is in the process of assessing and talking to Southern authorities about what would be the optimal follow-on configuration for a UN mission. We expect there to be one, but we want it to, its composition will depend in part on how far the two parties get in negotiating some of the remaining issues and what the government itself chooses to ask for. Sexual exploitation in the Congo is a subject of gravest concern to the United States, to the administration,
Thank you,
as well
Ambassador.
as Congress.
And I know that this is a serious issue that merits further inquiry, and we look forward to getting your response, perhaps after the hearing. And,
Thank you.
And if not, in written form, Mr. Smith. Thank you. Mr. Payne, the ranking member